very, very important person to Philadelphia. Okay, and he's also the founding father of the United States. When it comes to the founding father, people usually remember George Washington. Okay, he was the general who led the Continental Army to fight against the British. So, and he's also the first president. So people remember George Washington, but not so many for Benjamin Franklin. But he is also as important as George Washington. 好，那这个桥呢，用这个本杰明富兰克。Okay, because after we leave Philadelphia, we will pass by the state of Delaware, which is the first state in America. So the whole state is tax-free. Okay. 那等一下呢，我们在桥上这个上了本杰明富兰克林大桥，大家就可以看到这个桥底下的 Declaration of Independence, and the second is the U.S. Constitution. Okay, he was both the author and the signer. So he has many identities. Okay, not only he's a politician, he is also a diplomat, he's also a businessman, and he is also a scientist and inventor. Okay, and in fact, he invented the lightning rod. Okay, so later when we get off the bridge, you will see a landmark of a lightning striking on the needle. Okay, that is to represent his work, a very great invention, lightning rod. Okay, and he's actually the first person to discover electricity. Okay, 那这个 of the lightning. Okay, because when he was very young, he was flying his kite, and the kite got struck by lightning. So that's why it got him very interested in learning and studying about electricity. Benjamin Franklin 大桥. Okay, so right now we're getting onto the bridge, Benjamin Franklin Bridge. So all these buildings that we're gonna see today, and the buildings that are put on your money, okay, they are put in an order of importance. So the most important building to American people will be on your $100 bill. That is the most important building, and that is the Independence Hall that we're going to see in a few minutes. Okay, because without Independence Hall, no United States. Okay, so that is gonna be on your $100 bill. 那这个钞票上面的建筑呢，是以重要到次要的顺序来排列。Okay, in the back of your $1 is the Great Seal of America. Every other bill is a building on the back. So we're gonna see all these buildings. 所以那如果大家喜欢收集照片的话呢，今天要把握。So only this building is in Philadelphia. Okay, all other buildings on your paper bill, we are going to see it we are going to see them in Washington D.C. You see all these fences. If you go to the right, the police they will kick you out. OK， 我们右手边就是独立宫等一下大家不要跨过这些会被赶出来的不能够进到这里。我们可以在左手边的空地来拍照。那我们左转呢，我们就会把车子停下来，下车。
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không
What's the first one? New York, yeah, Wall Street, Federal Hall, correct, for 1 year. And then in the year of 1790, the capital moved here for 10 years. Until 1800, the final capital moved to Washington, D.C. Okay? 那这里呢是美国的第2个首都。昨天华尔街那边是1个首都。
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
Declaration of Independence, the revolutionary was
រូបអូននឹងហើយឆ្លើយត្រូវត្រង់ក្បួនហោរាពីថាអូនពិតណែបនឹកនឹងបងលោកស្រីទទួលបងទេមិនខំទេទៅមានថ្លៃកុំកែសង្ស័យទៀតណាអូនណា រូបអូននឹងហើយឆ្លើយត្រូវត្រង់ក្បួនហោរាពីថាអូនពិតណែបនឹងបងទទួលបងទៅមិនខំទេទៅមានថ្លៃកុំកែសង្ស័យទៀតណាអូនណា
Tiêu là hàng rất tới áo kia tới áo bằng lá
mà bắt khom bạc khom
đóคือทำ
làm mọi việc ấy
ทำมันเทียน
អូននឹងហើយគឺជាវាសនានៃបងបានជារៀងផងចងក្តីស្នេហាសូមអូនមេត្តារក្សាលងត្រាយើងខ្សែ
其他的所有的建筑呢，都会在华盛顿 DC 啊，美国的首都，大家会看到。So only this building is in Philadelphia. Okay, all other buildings on your paper belt, we are going to see it in we are going to see them in Washington DC. Alright, everybody's awake now? Okay, 大家都醒来了吧? Okay. Alright, so on our itinerary, we have the National Natural History Museum instead of any other museum because there is one thing that is very valuable in this museum. Okay, 那之所以15间博物馆里 throw it into the ocean, right? No more. Okay. So in the movie, he mentioned that this heart of ocean is more valuable than the diamond of hope. He actually said that line in the movie. So this diamond of hope is currently the largest blue diamond in the world, 46 carats, in the Natural History Museum. Okay, second floor, there is a diamond section. Okay, in the very middle, the biggest diamond, that will be the diamond of hope. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can go check it out. OK， 那如果大家还记得这个电影情节，那在哪里呢？就在这个自然博物馆、美国历史博物馆、工业艺术博物馆、非洲艺术博物馆、非洲。
រូបអូននឹងហើយឆ្លើយត្រូវត្រង់ក្បួនហោរាពីថាអូនពិតណែបនឹកនឹងបងទទួលបងទៅមិនខំទេទៅ
វីដេអូថតស្អាតថតបានវីដេអូបានទាំងរូបធម្មតា
ទៀតណាអូនណា
អាយ៉ាចូលខ្ញុំថតទាំងវីដេអូថតធម្មតាបានជួបជាមួយគ្នាឥឡូវថត อได้ทอดច្រើននេះឥឡូវធ្វើមិនធ្វើទៅឥឡូវបានហើយចាំ8ជួ8ទៅហើយចូលឲ្យច្រើនហើយ ខ្ញុំថតតែវីដេអូតើថតតែរូប
ហួតហូរបាត់ដឹងថ្ងៃត្រង់ស្ងាត់ឈឹងកាជ្រួងទាំងសងបាំងទីសោស្អាប់ហើលែងក្រាបបងជាវតូចដងបងអូនចូលរោងការ កំពុងបងអងខ្លាចយូរដំរីគប់ខ្វះបាទៅព្រឹកសាហូតដាវទន្ទរងកាត់ការស្លាកាត់ទាំងស្នេហាកំសត់អើយកុំបងឆោងចិត្តអៀនខ្មាស់ខែអើយកុំរាំងយកហើយឃើញផ្លូវទីដូកន្សែងរលែងកាយផ្លូវទីថ្ងៃនេះទៅយើងត្រូវបែកគ្នា បងអងខ្លាចសម្រីគប់ខ្វះដាទៅព្រឹកសាហូតដាវទន្ទរំកាត់ការស្លាកាត់ទាំងស្នេហាកំតត់ខ្ចប់ ខ្យល់អើយកុំបងឆោងចិត្តអៀនខ្មាស់ខែអើយកុំរាំងនោះទីឃើញផ្លូវទីដូកន្សែងរលែងកាយផ្លូវទីថ្ងៃនេះទៅយើងត្រូវបែកគ្នា Mau cái này mau cái này sao kia cái này ô cái này nó cái vô một bàn đó rồi cái không trang trọng
Rồi tính đâu cái muối đâu. Đây mà mình can cà phê thì thoát ra cờ đấy. Đấy nó mình đấy. Đây mà dễ chồng mưa đó nè. Khmer. Nó ngay bậc khe càng hai mô cả là khe đó nó tình nó ngay một ở phía bên tinh mới tập bên tinh mới này thì mình tinh nhưng mà nó đâu đấy
I met a tourist before who actually been to the White House. I wasn't even in the United States yet at that time, 18 years ago. Okay, they used to give out a ticket and you can go into and visit the White House room. Okay, but now they have 3 layers of fences around White House. Okay, and they have guards, White House police with machine guns on the rooftop. So we're not gonna get any closer. And Supreme Court, of course, we can't go unless you're beating a case over there. Okay, otherwise you're not going to the Supreme Court. So the only place will be the legislation branch, the Congress, the Capitol. Very small house, White House, a very small 3-floor tall house. Okay, after this we're going to White House. Okay, 很多朋友呢以为国会是白宫，因为在电视上大家都是看到这一栋有圆顶的。Here's the Capitol. You will see it in a little bit. So please listen carefully. There is a very strict security check before entering the Capitol. So no food, no drink. Okay, food I mean even a peanut. They found it in your pocket, they throw it out in the garbage can for you. Okay, or they keep you outside. Okay, all the food, any food. Okay, no food allowed. Okay. Huh? What? Water. I'm about to tell you. Yeah. No drink, and that means no liquid, no water, no soda, no beverage, no perfume, no mouth spray or whatever spray that has liquid. Okay, no liquid, no food, or they throw it in the garbage can for you, or they keep you outside. Leave it back. I'm gonna tell everybody everything. Yeah. Okay, no food, no water, no liquid, no sharp stuff. If you have nail clipper in your keychain, they throw it away, or small scissor, or trimming your, I don't know, eyebrow, whatever. Any sharp stuff, they throw it in the garbage can for you. So make sure you have those on the bus. Okay, you can bring cameras. Camera is good. Cell phone is good. Selfie stick is not good. Okay, selfie stick is not good. Okay, now here's the Capitol. You will see it in a little bit. So please listen carefully. There is very on the highest point of Washington DC, a 25-meter hill. We're gonna go up the hill, go to the back. That's where the visitor center is, and later we will walk down together. OK， 我们会走上山，这里叫做国会山，因为那个国会大楼它是建在华盛顿 DC。
battery barang. Cek mami. Video. Đi như thế nào các bạn? Khóc in Capitol Building.
Alabama, machine statues, the singers, California, 2000. That's the second artist. Leave the Constantine, put in the services. We think in response to the show. Okay, so last week the State Department brought me two groups from Romania and France. They'll bring people from all over. And so as always, with our friends that aren't from our country, I start with these paintings behind me in front of you first. Why? Because I try to offer chronological perspective. In other words, what came first in this room? These paintings. This room is 1824. Can you see the date? In some cases, it finished in 1820. Replaced in 1826. We want the world to know about the revolution. They're political offices. And as you know, Ohio recently 2 years ago brought in Tom Simpson. So we have every statue from every state spread throughout the Capitol. And I want to show you the statues.
I know you're all tired of walking, but sadly we still have to walk about 10 minutes to see the White House. We're gonna park by the National Mall. It is the park, and on the map it looks like a cross, okay, because the major religion is Catholic and Christian in America. So National Mall looks like a cross, okay, and all the important buildings there in the four points of the cross. Okay, so now we're gonna park at the National Mall and we're gonna walk inside about 10 minutes to see the White House. 那但是我们 on your right, okay. So when presidents from other country and important people from other country visit Washington D.C., they will be staying in one of these 2 hotels. OK， 那我们右手边插射蓝色旗子的这个很特别的这栋楼呢，就是华盛顿酒店。白宫。Angle to take picture of this monument, so it's okay. Later you can take as many pictures as you like. 可以等一下，我们去林肯纪念堂的时候呢，拍这个华盛顿纪念碑是最漂亮的啊，所以不用急着拍照，等一下想拍几张就拍几张。So you probably realize there is no tall building. It became another country called the Confederation. Okay, United States split into 2 countries. because towards that side, to the south, they disagree to free the slave. We are at the north, we're in Maryland. Okay, at the other side of the river, that's Virginia. Okay, so we agree to free the slave. So they split up, okay, into two different countries, two presidents, two generals, and they fighting against each other because of the termination of the slavery problem. So this river is on your left-hand side right now, Potomac River. Okay, separation line between the north and the south during the Civil War. Of course, we are the winner. We're on the north. Okay. 那我们左手边这条波多马克河呢，在1860年的时候，在这一条河的对面，成为了另外一个国家，叫做邦联。当时因为解放黑奴的关系，那这条河的对面就是我们今天晚上住在酒店的地方，维吉尼亚州。那我们现在是在马里兰，我们在北边，也就是当时南北战争。
Biar tahu you nak cakap apa.
Ya.
All right, does anyone want to see what it looked like 500 years ago when the English came here? Close your eyes, open your eyes, now look right over to the right. That island over there is just how it looked 500 years ago when the English arrived. You see how beautiful, with all the trees and all the bushes, and that's why we left it that way, so that you can come here and see it. There's also another reason, and I'm going to tell you about that on the way back. Now, over on the left here, we have the first of the famous buildings. There's the ocean and settled in this area, in these colonies. And they had just one problem. They didn't have any food by the time they got here. But lucky for them, when they got right up to this area, they ran into native peoples that were living here. We call them the American Indians. They're the ones with the feathers on the top of their heads that you may have seen in TV or the movies. And it was those Native Americans that taught the English that came here how to fish in this water, which was very different than back home in England, and how to hunt on these lands. And that's how they survived in the beginning. And they became so successful here that they built farms up in these hills and sent down everything they grew down to the waterfront here and put it on boats like this to send back to England. And they traded it for guns and cash and other things that they needed. In the beginning of our relationship with China. Prior to that president, we had no relationship with China. And we were worried because we knew that they would become a very big and very great power someday. And we wanted to have a friendship. But he didn't send the U.S. Army or the Marines. He sent over our table tennis team, our ping pong players. And they had a very friendly match with the Chinese. I'm sure the Chinese won that tournament. But the Americans won also because we got the beginning of a relationship with China. It's the party of Obama and Clinton to look at their campaign secrets. And they were caught doing that and sent to jail. So because President Nixon was connected with that scandal, he was forced to resign, step down from office. But we look at that as a very positive thing in our democracy because we think there are many countries in the world where even if a president had already begun to do many important programs, especially for the poor and the working class. Unfortunately, one man didn't like him very much, and when he was touring down in Texas, he was assassinated. He was killed. And because of that, we dedicated our version of Lincoln Center, and if you were in New York, you saw Lincoln Center probably. So this is our Lincoln Center. And every year nearly 1,000 performances go on there in dance, jazz, orchestra, ballet, theater, all at a very high and professional level. And the most famous one happens in the middle of the winter. It's called the Kennedy Center Honors, and our president and the first lady attend that performance.
那我们左手边的这一栋很漂亮的建筑呢，就是林肯表演中心。
In his home, just dirt or sand on the floor. That was during the 1800s, early 1800s. But he had some qualities and some skills that would become very valuable later on. He had the ability to persuade people, to convince them and to debate them, and to persuade them to do the right thing, the morally right thing to do. And that was lucky because when he became president, this country was dealing with a problem it had since the very beginning. And that was the problem of slavery, where black people were held in chains, forced to do work without any pay or compensation, and generally had no rights whatsoever. Now, that problem was here since the beginning of the country in 1776, but a compromise between the two sides that put the capital right here on the dividing line between those areas pushed that conflict back. But by 1860, the sides, all the states that you see on the right side of the boat were slave states. That's where slavery was allowed. On the left side of the boat were all the free states where slavery was not allowed. Between the free states and the slave states, where more Americans died than any war before it or since as a percentage of our population, there was a very big need to bring the two sides back together, to reconnect the country both symbolically and physically as well. So they built this beautiful bridge to join those two sides together. It's called the Memorial Bridge.
OK， 那刚刚说为什么这个阿灵顿桥跟南北战争有任何的关系呢？因为当时南北战争是美国史上死过最多美国人的一个战争，自己打自己，死伤非常惨重。那最后林肯已经统一了南北，美国又成为统一的一个国家之后呢，他们决定要把本来分裂的这南北两个地方重新的连接起来，把他们的这个友谊关系重新的连接起来，所以说才建了华盛顿纪念碑，连成一条线，非常的漂亮。那刚刚呢，他也在跟大家说，这个林肯呢，就是跟我刚刚跟大家介绍的一样，是美国最伟大的总统之一。那这条河呢，就是当时南北战争的时候。
We didn't see a need to have a big army because we had large oceans on both sides of the country that protected us. But we were surprise attacked during 1940 by the Japanese who attacked us at Pearl Harbor, an island in the Pacific Ocean. And we knew we had to...
Okay, 36 states in the United States when the Lincoln was the president. There were only 36 states. If you look up on the very top, you see also a lot of names of states. Those are 48 states that are in the federal government when the memorial was done in 1922. Okay, so we have 50 states today. 2 more, they have no more space to put it. So if you walk up the slope right here, you will see they put it on the floor. Alaska and Hawaii, last 2 states. Okay, and if you can see the staircases, it's very obvious in 2 colors. The first half white, the second half black.
White and black.
Half black, half white stair. Because the greatest thing that Lincoln did was he freed the African slave. So they try to show black and white equal. However, it made up a lot of argument. Here, you will see his inscription if you walk up there. In front of 100,000 people at this reflecting pool. Okay, so that's one of the interesting things. If you walk up there, you'll see 19 feet tall Lincoln statue sitting inside. Okay,
No, it's okay. The hotel gonna stay tonight.